First of all, it really means a lot that they love the book enough that they want to see it adapted in an honest, faithful way. I think that they nailed it.
It's like a book better than a movie, and some people will like a movie better than a book. But I think that we just did our best to honor the book and honor the fans.
Colleen Hoover, the author behind It Ends With Us, stunned fans when she wiped her Instagram clean without warning. Then came whispers of a shocking lawsuit involving Blake Lively and director Justin Baldoni, rumors that turned this highly anticipated film adaptation into a Hollywood firestorm. One minute, Hoover was proudly sharing behind-the-scenes moments. The next, entire posts vanished, fueling speculation of on-set conflicts, buried evidence, and a PR battle that only grows more intense by the day. Why would a best-selling author suddenly retreat from social media? And how did a project brimming with potential spiral into legal showdowns and missing posts? Let's pull back the curtain on the chaos engulfing It Ends With Us, exploring the cast, the controversies, and the powerful forces driving both sides toward a showdown that could make or break everyone involved. Long before the drama took center stage, It Ends With Us was a runaway hit on bookstore shelves. Fans fell hard for Colleen Hoover's emotional storytelling, and the novel's rapid climb to bestseller status made a film adaptation almost inevitable. When news broke that Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni were joining forces, she as the lead, and he as both star and director, excitement soared. People pictured a cinematic masterpiece, expecting Lively's on-screen charisma and Baldoni's passion for impactful storytelling to bring Hoover's characters to life in an unforgettable way. But as is often the case in Hollywood, quiet chatter trickled through industry circles before cameras even started rolling. Early rumors pointed to creative differences between Lively's team and the production crew. Some said she requested unusual script changes, while others hinted that scheduling conflicts were causing friction. None of it was strong enough to land on the front page just yet, but the tension had been seeded. Fans tracking the project on social media noticed subtle signals like vague tweets or fleeting references to unforeseen difficulties, something it seemed was already off.
A lot of it's my real-life clothes or my husband's clothes or my girlfriend Gigi's clothes. I was borrowing some...
Wait, that's kind of amazing. So you have something of Gigi's in the movie.
Yeah, it's like a wedding, like something old, something borrowed, something blue, something new.
Wait, which one? Now I want to think of the scene.
Oh, I'm wearing her stuff all over it.
Oh, really?
Tons of Bodhi, which is with the suit now that I'm wearing is Bodhi. It was meant for my husband, but I borrowed it.
His suit?
It was meant for him to wear, but it's so pretty. Look at it. You guys are not getting it in the shot.
Then came the surprise that set the internet abuzz. Colleen Hoover's Instagram page began undergoing a strange transformation. Posts featuring behind-the-scenes photos from It Ends With Us disappeared without warning, as did supportive captions she'd shared about Blake Lively's involvement. That alone might have raised eyebrows, but rumors kicked into high gear when fans noticed entire conversations being deleted, including long comments Colleen once shared about her collaboration with the film's cast. The missing posts triggered an avalanche of speculation. Some claimed Colleen Hoover was simply trying to distance herself from the negativity swirling around the film. Others wondered if she'd received instructions to remove certain content, perhaps as part of some bigger legal strategy. Still others believed she had grown fed up with online bullies who thrived on picking apart every detail of her private life. Whatever the reason, the vanishing act sparked endless theories and fueled the notion that bigger secrets lay beneath the surface. That's when Blake Lively's name re-emerged in the conversation. Why was Hoover distancing herself? Did it have something to do with Lively's rumored on-set demands or creative conflicts? No one knew for sure, but the sense of unease only grew stronger. In an attempt to quell the chatter, Hoover briefly addressed the deletions by saying she was sick of vile comments, hinting at how social media had become a dark, toxic space. But then those comments vanished too, leaving behind a deafening silence and even more questions. With social media at the helm, small mysteries often explode into widespread fan theories in a matter of hours. So it was no surprise that stories surrounding It Ends With Us began taking on a life of their own. One rumor suggested that Blake Lively had insisted on new security measures to protect the cast and crew after feeling uneasy about certain filming conditions. Another rumor claimed she demanded script rewrites that clashed with Hoover's original vision, prompting tensions between the author and director. Some accounts portrayed Blake as a champion for safer working conditions, while others painted her as an uncompromising star with too much influence. Still, no single narrative ever emerged as the truth. Instead, fans were bombarded with conflicting tidbits. One day, it sounded like the entire cast and crew adored Blake's dedication to authenticity. The next, she was the scapegoat for every production setback.
And we went into the audition and he signed in, and then the casting director came out and said, "Blake?" And Eric said, "Yep, that's her." And I just thought I was gonna die. And she said, "We don't have you on our call sheet." And he said, "Oh," and he put his agency's name. And so I auditioned, and I didn't know what to say in that moment. I was 16, and my brother had just written my name on a piece of paper, and they were looking at me, so I walked in the room and did the audition.
Through it all, people kept pointing to Colleen Hoover's deleted social media posts as the canary in the coal mine, proof that something far more volatile simmered behind closed doors. Colleen Hoover's visible retreat from social media offered fertile ground for theories. After all, Hoover had long been open with her followers, sharing details from her daily life and her journey as a best-selling writer. She wasn't known for vanishing abruptly, so the shift felt stark and alarming. Insiders noted that Hoover had faced intense online scrutiny before, everything from accusations that her books romanticized dark themes to critical essays dissecting her personal life. From her perspective, it's plausible that she simply reached a breaking point and decided to pull back for her own mental health. Yet the timing raised eyebrows. Why right after she publicly backed Blake Lively's stance on safe workplaces? Why remove posts that displayed excitement about the film? Some guessed she might have faced pressure from the studio or legal advisors, an attempt to keep the brewing conflict under wraps. Others argued Hoover genuinely sought to avoid hateful comments aimed at her family. Regardless, her disappearance sparked a bigger question. If the author behind the story felt the need to step away so drastically, just how intense were things getting behind the camera? At first, the idea of a lawsuit might have sounded far-fetched, but whispers soon turned into pointed speculation. Was Blake Lively planning to sue the production team, or had Justin Baldoni already taken legal steps to protect himself? Then came talk of sweeping subpoenas, with Lively's legal team requesting a mountain of documents, emails, and correspondence, everything they could get their hands on. Insiders claimed the subpoenas targeted not only Justin Baldoni's messages, but also communications from key producers, publicists, and possibly even certain cast members. The official line was that Lively wanted proof of a so-called smear campaign, while Baldoni's camp accused her of overreaching. They insisted they had done nothing wrong. Why should they open up private communications to someone fishing for a scandal? Suddenly, It Ends With Us was less about heartfelt storytelling and more about strategic defense. Fans wondered how an adaptation of a beloved novel devolved into behind-the-scenes legal warfare. But for better or worse, once lawyers stepped in, the tension escalated beyond mere rumor. Everything from rumored NDAs to protective orders became fodder for public debate, and each time a new legal document surfaced, it ignited a fresh round of analysis on social media, with amateur sleuths combing every line for proof that might tilt the scale. Amid the legal intrigue, another battle raged quietly, the competition for public sympathy and support. Hollywood PR machines churned out statements and planted stories, or so fans speculated, highlighting either Blake's unwavering moral stance or Justin Baldoni's genuine heartbreak over the drama. Tabloids published conflicting scoops. One day, an anonymous source close to production praised Baldoni for expertly handling a complex set environment.
Oh, it's so hard. I mean, look, first of all, being a director is a very lonely job and there's a lot of pressure. And I think the only way that I got through it is I just surrounded myself with people that were so much smarter than me. As it relates to the acting part, it's a heavy load to carry. I wanted to do as much justice as I could to survivors by making Ryle as truthful as possible.
The next, a different unnamed insider insisted Lively was the real hero, trying to protect fellow actors from toxic elements on set. Both sides seemingly vied for control of the narrative, whether through carefully worded press releases or orchestrated leaks to entertainment blogs. Observers noted that headlines began to shift. No longer were articles focusing on the romance and heartbreak at the core of Hoover's novel. Instead, they fixated on bitter claims of bullying, questionable alliances, and behind-the-scenes intimidation. Fans on social media also split into factions. Some declared their unwavering loyalty to Blake, lauding her as a champion of safe work conditions. Others sided with Baldoni, arguing that Lively's last-minute demands threatened to derail an already challenging shoot. Then there were the real cynics, those who claimed the feud was an orchestrated stunt to generate buzz. Yet with the legal wrangling so public, that last theory seemed increasingly unlikely. As the story reached fever pitch, Online communities dedicated to It Ends With Us dissected every scrap of data. Reddit threads popped up daily, analyzing document filings, cross-referencing dates, and sifting through old interviews for hidden clues. Could certain cryptic remarks from years ago reveal friction between Lively and Baldoni before the project even began? Did casual remarks Colleen Hoover made about outside pressure have double meanings? Some fans championed elaborate timelines, pinpointing exactly when negative stories about Lively began appearing in gossip columns versus when Baldoni supposedly readied his crisis management team. Speculation soared. Maybe Lively's request for new security protocols triggered panic on the production side. Or perhaps the producer's hush-hush approach to controlling leaks spooked Lively into believing they were orchestrating a smear campaign. Every day, new theories sprouted, and each was more dramatic than the last. In the midst of all the noise, a few observers urged patience. After all, lawsuits can drag on for months, even years.
It's a bit of a tough adjustment in our house, but it's good. I mean, I have two other daughters, so my oldest is very into the baby, but my middle child, not so much. But we're thinking of keeping her.
Does she like play with her? What does she think?
Well, she sort of like pretends to play with her. So like in the beginning, our oldest is like loving on her, and she's like very maternal, and then our middle daughter is just keeps away from her.
They advised fans to stop jumping to conclusions based on rumor alone. But in the vacuum of official clarity, and with big personalities at play, most people seemed reluctant to let the matter rest quietly. After months of swirling rumors, legal threats, and intense speculation, It Ends With Us finally hit theaters. Fans of Colleen Hoover's novel lined up in, eager to see how Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni would translate the beloved story to the big screen. But behind the curtains of box office buzz, the controversy that dogged the film's production was far from settled. The release itself garnered significant attention, partly thanks to the off-screen drama. Critics weighed the film on its own merits, praising standout performances and strong emotional moments. But many couldn't ignore the ongoing lawsuit and the alleged friction between Lively, Baldoni, and Hoover. Some reviewers suggested that the tension seeped into the final cut, while others dismissed the controversy as background noise overshadowing an otherwise solid adaptation. In the public arena, the reaction split down the middle. Loyal fans applauded the movie for capturing the novel's emotional core, while skeptics remained fixated on each new twist in the legal battles. Social media forums buzzed with theories about which scenes might have been altered in the 11th hour and whether certain creative choices were the result of compromises among the warring camps. Meanwhile, box office analysts noted that the film's heightened profile, driven in part by the backstage drama, may have contributed to a boost in ticket sales. Yet, even with the film out and audiences finally able to judge it for themselves, the central conflict lingers. Lawsuits aren't won or lost overnight, and neither are reputations. Some insiders hint that new revelations could emerge as litigation continues, potentially affecting any sequel plans or home release bonus footage.
I mean, honestly, the way that I get into a character is through their style. So it was more about who Lily is that was so fascinating to me, is that she's a walking, talking contradiction, yet it's perfectly harmonious for her.
Others argue that the storm will pass, like so many heated Hollywood disputes before it, and It Ends With Us will simply stand on its own. Whether it goes down in history as a compelling adaptation mired by scandal, or simply as a faithful rendering of Hoover's novel, one thing is certain: the controversy surrounding It Ends With Us became as much a part of its story as the plot itself. Now that the film is out, all eyes remain on the real-life courtroom drama that shows no sign of fading and may yet redefine the legacy of everyone involved. What began as a celebrated partnership between a best-selling author, a beloved A-list actress, and a passionate director has spiraled into a labyrinth of deleted Instagram posts, rumored smear campaigns, and legal posturing. Each day, it feels like a new clue emerges, yet definitive answers remain elusive. While fans around the world hold on to hope that It Ends With Us can still shine on the big screen, the looming question is whether any resolution will come before all sides endure serious damage to their reputations. At the core of it all, we're dealing with human beings, artists with dreams, fears, and personal boundaries. A large portion of the public sympathizes with whoever seems most vulnerable at any given moment. And as this tangled story marches forward, you can bet that every new subpoena, every reactivated social media account, and every cryptic interview snippet will reignite speculation. The only certainty is that the final chapter of this saga has yet to be written. Will It Ends With Us emerge triumphant despite its controversies, Or will the legal battles and backstage intrigue overshadow the story fans first fell in love with? Only time, and perhaps a few unsealed documents, will tell. Until then, stay tuned, because this is one Hollywood roller coaster that shows no sign of slowing down.